goodness. Here we are.
Hello. Welcome to Brain Candy, episode 453. Sarah, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well, Suze. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it's almost fall. Well, I guess it is technically. When is it technically fall?
Oh, I looked this up the other day.
What's the
September, it's either 21st or 22nd.
Okay, so
year.
it's not technically fall.
Yes. Let me see. First day of fall. Let's see if the internet concurs. Oh, it's September 22nd. I was right my first guess.
Okay. I think it's one
Nailed
of those
it.
things where the year sucks so bad that everyone's sort of like, is it fall yet? Like we want it to go faster, kind of.
Well, here's what Ren and I decided is the only logical thing to do. Go heavy on the holiday decorations. And here's why. Mm-hmm. It's the only thing marking the changing of time, like passing of time. It feels like Groundhog's Day every day, and we're like stuck inside, and we're like not going out because we live in a freaking busy city, and and also because there's a pandemic going on.
Do you think like maybe you'll bust out the spooky stuff early?
Oh, we were talking about it yesterday, and he was like, "Oh yeah, we need to go. Here's what we do. We do like light fall, like kind of like." Transitioning into fall, and then we go heavy spooky, and then we go back to more like a classic fall for like the November, and then we were totally talking about this yesterday, and he was like, yeah, let's kick it off like mid-September, and in my mind that like translated to mid-October because I was like, he wouldn't say September, that's like right now, and then I was like, well, I was thinking like October 1st. He goes, or we can wait. And I was like, wait a sec. Wait, what did you say? He was like, September. I was like, yeah, let's roll with that. We're doing that one. Yes.
Okay, good.
And I'm like so excited. We spent a considerable number of minutes talking outside last night on our balcony while sipping wine about how we were going to decorate for Halloween and like how we're going to replace... because there are really great like online like Etsy shops right now. Well, all the time where people take beautiful photographs and like cool spooky stuff, and you can download the files, and like just print them. Like freaking print them from your printer. Get them printed at like I've got Kinko's downstairs. What else? And and we're gonna replace like all of our picture frames with like spooky photos.
Wow, I mean, you must be so happy that you found someone who. Jives with you on that level.
I mean, Annie Camps? Come on.
What? Annie what?
Camps.
Right.
Come on.
He loves games.
I mean, it's perfect. It's a match made in heaven, I'm telling you. Like you say, I better not fuck this up.
No, for real. But I know you won't because that's like not what you do.
Yeah.
You're the opposite. You cling on for dear life forever.
Oh, for dear life. I'm like, not letting you go.
And I have to be like, Sarah, wrap it up. But in this case, I will never say that because it really is a perfect match.
Oh, thank you.
And I wouldn't say it if it weren't true.
It is. I think about that every day. I'm like, oh, yes, he's my puzzle piece. He's my perfect person.
Is there any way that you guys are opposites? Because I can't even think of an example of that. Like maybe your sleep habits.
But I've changed. Well, yeah.
You have come a long way. I know.
I have, but I do. I think when we have a house, I might have to go back because I do notice that I'm like the most creative between the hours of midnight and like 3 a.m. And that's where I'm like heavily artsy, like super crafty. And when, you can't really do that in a small apartment when, your partner's sleeping right there.
You can't be getting out the sewing machine and stuff.
No, you can't. Mm-hmm. You can't. So... that and like, I mean, like really not in any ways.
That's so good. I'm just happy for you.
No, we like the same movie too. Yeah, I mean, differences are great and everything. I will say we're like, when the dishes are dirty, he likes to leave them on the counter, and I like to put them in the sink. That's about it.
Right. Like there are differences and quirks and stuff, but there's nothing that I would say you're opposite, like odd couple.
Yeah, no opposites. Yeah. No. Oh yeah, not like. He's indoorsy, I'm outdoorsy, or he's like...
Well, and you're both social.
Yes, definitely.
Like, whereas Adam is quiet and I'm not,
Yeah. Oh, but no, Adam is not... Here's the thing. Adam like, when we're hanging out, he's and he's so freaking funny. He just, like, needed the right audience, people who would actually appreciate him. And now,
his policy is, like, he does not cast his pearls to swine.
Right, and that's a good policy.
It's a good policy. So
I'm, like, throwing him at everyone. Pearls for all.
Right, take me for everything I'm worth.
Come, tune into my show of pearls.
Right, whereas he's very discerning and won't show you his cards, which I think is good.
Yes.
Okay. You know how I have a bird obsession?
Yes.
Well, I read this fun article that said that when birds are high on opioids...
First question. Who's getting birds high?
Go on.
Go on.
When birds are high on opioids, they sing like jazz.
Get out.
Yeah.
Okay. This is
adorable?
really... Well, yeah, and it kind of like makes you wonder...
About jazz musicians.
Well, like, even if it's just... Okay, for example, Van Gogh, although he's, like, not necessarily the pioneer of Impressionist art, his art kind of evolved into... or devolved or evolved, well, kind of both, into being something that was almost like a reflection of his mental illness.
Yeah.
And then everybody copied that.
Right.
So, could music played by an artist that's under the influence and everybody's like, whoa, that's cool and
I'm
new,
sure that's happened.
then inspire that?
I bet that's most music.
I bet that's probably a lot of creative stuff.
Right. Well,
This is why I gotta stay up till 3 a.m., people.
Right. You gotta sing jazz, baby.
Not because I'm crazy or taking opioids. Just to let the record show. Just because, like, I could be creative.
Well, they were trying to discern whether... they were trying to figure out why birds sing, right? So they know that they might be marking their territory or protecting their nest or communicating with other birds, some sort of message like, hey, there's food over here or whatever.
Oh, my God, I never thought about why the heck they do that.
Well, they wanted to know, do they also sing when they're happy? Or is it just to communicate
that's like what I thought
information?
they were doing, is just singing when they were happy.
Okay, so you assumed...
That's like the only communication I thought they were doing. Well, it sure as heck sounds happy.
It does, but you didn't think they were talking to each other? It was just
like,
a solo thing?
Like mating, happy,
mating
or...
makes sense.
Yeah, because you know, like when a dolphin's just like hanging out and like swimming around, and he's like,
Oh,
you know.
well, maybe they're communicating too.
For sure. They all are. Yeah. So, yeah, like mating or like communicating, but also just like humming a happy tune, right? Like,
I'm happy to. Well, it turns out you were right that they do, in fact, sing when they're just sort of happy. And that's how they tested it. They gave them some happy drugs. And they started chirping away. And
they were
also...
Like, chirp.
Yeah, they did like...
A chirp. A chirp,
Yeah, they were scatting.
They're scatting.
Right.
A tweet. A tweet. A tweet. A tweet.
This is what people listen for. Like, just Sarah's nonsense.
That's really fun. I also am not on opioids or anything like that right now.
This is just you normal?
This is just regular.
Are you totally sober?
I mean, a lot of caffeine. I did have a lot of caffeine. Yeah,
what is
that
your
usually
caffeine
happens.
intake? I'm curious about this.
It's up and sometimes I'm either like all in or not. I totally forgot about it.
Yeah, like do you get hooked or you just get in a habit or something?
More like in a habit, and then it feels like it feels like something to do when I'm just sitting at the desk, you know.
Do you think some people are immune to caffeine? Because my mom swears she is.
No, but I think some people who have, who maybe are experiencing the effects of like the same physiological effects because of other things, like maybe they're highly anxious or like that it's kind of like maybe the difference between 0 and like 50% is like very noticeable, but the difference between like 50% and 60% is like very like little notice. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm explaining this well.
Yeah,
but,
and it makes sense because Peg always seems like she's singing jazz, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
I would say my mom's probably the same too.
Yeah, they're like high energy people.
But then if I told because your mom drinks a lot of caffeine though, right?
Yeah, she loves it.
Okay, because I think both my mom and your mom, if they were to quit cold turkey,
oh, totally.
it would be and then if they were to quit cold turkey and then have it,
Yeah.
they would be like, "Whoa, what is this?" Because like the baseline is already, they're just like used to it.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did. I quit for like a month. And then I had it
Right.
again, and
It's like
I
a
was
whole new
like,
world.
"Oh my God, I'm going to actually have a heart attack." I was like, "Is this how fast my heart beats regs? Oh shit!"
Yeah.
So yeah,
You can really
So
tell.
that's I could tell, but only if I'm not on it, and then come back.
Well, Sarah and I found a new little something for when we do want to sing jazz,
Yes.
which is called Boozy Bites and OMG.
Well, first of all, Boozy Bites.
Right.
Both these things I like.
The name is enough.
Yes,
But
sold already.
these are vegan wine-based, basically grown-up Jell-O shots. And they
Yes.
come in these amazing push-up cups. And you open them up and you're just like ready to party. Like you're ready to celebrate life, which I think we all need right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you know how Sarah just said, like, sometimes you just have a cup of coffee because you're bored? This is a better way to end your boredom. If you're looking for fun in 2020, Boozy Bites are where it's at. It's great for a social distant gathering.
Yes. I'm thinking you could even toss it to me from the other side of the pool. It's freaking perfect.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Perfect way to surprise somebody, like if they have their birthday. It arrives in this really pretty box. And it just, puts a smile on your face. And it's whimsy, like we all need freaking some whimsy.
Yes.
It's a female-founded and owned company, which I love. And they're made with 3 kinds of seaweed rather than gelatin. So it's vegan. You know how gelatin has like friggin' pigs in it or something?
Oh my God. Yes. Ew.
Ew. And the little cups are so cute. They look like little champagne glasses. And they come in like rosé flavor, mojito, citrus punch, Moscow Mule. So it's just adorable.
Yes. Yes. And yes. I want them all.
And they have a deal for our listeners. We love our Boozy Bites. We know you will too. Right now they're offering you 15% off plus free shipping for our listeners. So to order your own box or to send some of the boozy treats to your friend, head to boozybites.com and enter promo code BrainCandy at checkout for 15% off your order. That's boozybites.com, promo code BrainCandy. You got to be 21. Don't be weird about it. And they ship to certain states and stuff. But check it out at boozybites.com. And then you'll get the scoop.
Oh,
all right. So birds are high. Sarah is high. My mom's high. Everybody's high. Not really. Okay. So this is my latest obsession is the documentary. I've been waiting months for it to come out. And I even signed up for their newsletter just so I'd know when it was released. Class Action Park. Do you remember me telling you about this?
Action Park. Refresh my memory.
Okay.
Why can I remember everything else we ever talk about?
You'll remember, I think, when I describe it.
Go.
In upstate New York, there was this theme park called Action Park that was like bonkers, right? And this is in the 80s when like we didn't wear helmets and stuff. Like things were just real loosey-goosey with safety.
When we were kind of like, to seatbelts.
Right. Seatbelts optional.
Yeah.
And so this park sort of represents that period of deregulation in U.S. history and also just that sort of nostalgic time period. Mm-hmm. And so the documentary for the first hour is just hilarious and fun because you're seeing all this insanity. This guy, this super rich guy was just like, I describe him as lawless, just sort of like anything goes. And he started out with this slide, a water slide, where you go down and you're in a tunnel, a tube, and it goes completely around like a loop-de-loop.
Yeah.
And spits you out. Mm-hmm. But if you work through that in your brain, that's not safe at all. Like to go down a dark tube and go upside down around with water all over the place.
Oh my gosh, you go upside. No, that's not safe.
Completely upside down. And when they opened it up.
Oh my God. And then what if you went not fast enough?
Yes. If you were too small, you couldn't go in it. If you were too big, you couldn't go in it.
For Christ's sake. This is so terrifying.
people would get stuck sometimes, so they had this hatch. And one time they opened the hatch and found all these people's teeth in there because, like, when you go through, sometimes you'd lose teeth.
Oh my! Stop! That is like one of the most disgusting things that
Sarah.
you could have said.
For
Susie,
real.
you weren't mad at me about the snakes. This is like way worse.
It is way worse because the first, the first hour,
visceral
everything they say, you're like, oh my God, this is insane. But it's still kind of like fun because people are having a blast and jumping off cliffs and like, they had.
He was a very rich man?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was a success. I should say he's a successful businessman, but then he got funding from another rich guy. And combined, it was just like, what?
I swear to God. There's a character on Bob's Burgers based off of him.
There probably is.
The landlord who owns their building but also owns the wharf where all the games are played, and he wears an eye patch, and he's like evil, and he like he runs like Ferris wheels and theme parks.
I bet it was.
It's like sounds exactly like it, and it's like
so
East
many
Coasty.
of the people that were in the documentary talking about it are now, like Jimmy Kimmel, Jackass,
it
Johnny Knoxville.
100% is because all those people have been guest stars on guest voices.
Because they're like kids that grew up in New York.
Oh my God. That is so cool.
Oh my God. But
I love this extra more because I know this character from Bob's Burgers. This is hilarious.
I love how you've decided that is now fact.
No fact. I
Your
swear,
theory.
Once again, prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong.
Prove
You
me
can't
wrong.
do it. Okay, so they had a million different slides. You could fly off of them, like you'd catch air.
Oh my God!
Like, it was just sort of when you would go, you expected injuries. That's how it was, and it was completely lawless. It's basically what happens when white men are in charge and have no regulations, But the thing is, after the first hour, that's when it gets sad because people did perish at this place.
Oh God!
Truly, they would fly off and die.
Jesus, have fun at your own risk.
Truly, and then they would also.
Terrifying.
Then the owner had set up a fake insurance company.
No.
Yeah, and so you'd sue them, and they wouldn't. Nothing would happen because it was not a real insurance company, so you were never going to get money. And, so people lost their kids and stuff, truly.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. This is a crazy... I do not... maybe vaguely remember this, but, not like this.
It was such a great documentary because it comes...
Where can you find this?
This is on HBO Max. And
okay.
they have a free trial, so, you can... I think 2 weeks maybe free trial. So I'm telling you, get the trial just for this because it is so.
That's a big. That's like a big statement.
You know why? Because both things are true. Like you see how much fun and how nostalgic and how people talk about it with that sort of twinkle in their eye, like you get when you talk about your crazy childhood.
Yeah,
and that's a true thing that they've experienced. But for the people whose outcome was different, that's true too and terrible.
Yeah.
So I get it that some people had fun and only got minor cuts and bruises, but other people were maimed and killed and broke bones and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That can't happen. That's not okay.
The stories.
I'm trying to justify not in any way justify people dying, but why there would even be an interest to keep a place like that open, or why there would be people who wanted to go to begin with.
Well, you know that feeling you have, let's say you're on a normal roller coaster that we talked about in an episode recently, and that feeling of adrenaline and fight or flight, but you're safe.
Yes.
So these people had that same sense because you think it must be safe, but they were not right.
Because it's not like this is happening while you can live tweet it and then all of a sudden this park is trending because somebody died, and all of a sudden it gets shut down because, oh my God, how could anybody, this is you wouldn't even know that somebody died on there, and then you'd come and you'd visit, and oh my God, that's terrifying.
When, people would, almost drown, and then the lifeguards, instead of saying, you can't be in here anymore, they would just put a bracelet on them that said, CFS, can't fucking swim. And then you could still go in everything, but they'd know to watch.
Oh my God.
It was insane.
Lawless, totally.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But anybody that loves sort of that 80s, 90s, like let's look back at how things were bonkers, will love it. But then it's also so interesting to see the business aspect and then the tragedy of it and how families coped with it and the effects of that. It was really fascinating. So watch that.
Because I'm trying to think okay, well, rock climbing is really dangerous and but when you go do that, that's part.
But this was negligence where
you
go down a water slide
totally
and there would
different.
be a bolt hanging out and you just
oh my God. No, that's my actual, I believe I've had this nightmare before. No, for real. I can't with that. That is because I'm a safety, I'm super cautious anyway.
Me too.
So cautious. And Ren and I have talked about this. I think it comes from being a camp counselor. Because you have to be hyper aware of 1,000 million things that could go wrong. And that it's you're a parent for 12 8-year-olds for
do you think most summer camps are safe?
Week. No, it's the same. Not like that because it's all the same stories.
It's impossible for it to
It's
be.
impossible because nature, it's outside. It's like saying, is that climbing that tree safe? Well, no, not really, but do it. How safe is anything? We're lighting fires and, playing with bows and not really bows and arrows. Well, actually, yes, archery. I totally did that. So, yeah, I was playing with bows and arrows, but no, we are. So
I bet you whenever you're at camp too, you take a lot of pictures, right?
100%.
And you might want to get them framed, right?
Definitely.
And that's why you need FrameBridge.
Yes.
I love FrameBridge.
Well, that's exactly what's framing the nice picture in our living room right now.
See?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
There you go.
And Sarah knows right above my microphone is a FrameBridge framed matted picture of Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, when he was on Esquire magazine.
Yep.
And I keep
Hard
it
to
there.
find a magazine.
It is. I put an eBay alert out for that thing.
Yes.
Because it's from the 90s. Yep, and I finally got it, and I had it framed. Here's what I did, because this is how FrameBridge works. So I took a picture of the magazine and then uploaded the picture quickly online. So I didn't even have to send in the actual magazine. I just sent them the picture, and then they worked with that and framed it perfectly. It looks like it's the actual magazine, but it's not.
Yes. Yes.
But they'll custom frame your item. I've done that also for Lincoln's artwork. You can get it matted and framed so it actually looks like modern art or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just think it's such a convenient service. And instead of paying hundreds, you'd pay at a framing store because that is like highway robbery. Their prices start at $39 and all shipping is free. And our listeners get a deal, 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use our code CANDY. So let me give you the scoop. Get started today, frame your photos, or send someone the perfect gift. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code BRAINCANDY to save an additional 15% off your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code BRAINCANDY, framebridge.com, promo code BRAINCANDY.
Yes.
Okay. So,
if you're a book lover, they have other cute stuff too. They've got a Penguin print house collection where it's big, nice, beautiful framed prints from all your favorite childhood books.
Ah, that's adorable. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like that llama pajama, red pajama one or whatever it's called that has such
so
cute artwork.
cute.
Yeah, adorable. I love when things do that. They do stuff like that.
Would you like to hear about a book heist, why water rolls off a duck's back?
Oh, that's
or
funny.
The farm boy who invented the television?
Oh, my God.
I know.
I'm going to go duck's back.
Okay. So this was in, I think, probably Smithsonian Magazine. And it was describing how, for example, a duck or any kind of aquatic bird has feathers that are different from the aviation style birds. I don't know what they're called.
Avians.
Oh, avians. Thank you. And so, you know
I
how,
hope that's right.
when you see a feather on the ground, it looks a certain way. But if you pull a feather out of your down comforter, it's different.
Yes.
So
it's like the under whatever, down kind of stuff.
Like softy little
I love
furry.
those.
Yeah. And that stuff keeps it really warm. That's why we use it in our coats and beds and stuff. But the feather density is higher on the water feathers. And they have more of what they call barbules. And they keep the water and cold air out. But
I can imagine what those are. Those are like the little, each little
like branches.
Yeah, like are they almost like hair, but like not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is the gross bit.
Oh no.
They, in addition to having feathers that are designed to keep water and cold air out, they also have this gland on their rump that secretes preen oil. And you know how birds preen
preening.
themselves? Yeah.
Oh my God. I know. They're taking their ass juice and rubbing it all over their backs. That's what they're doing, aren't they?
Yes. That is what they're doing. So they use this preen oil that comes out of
Ducks probably smell like shit.
I can't take it.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Right, that's your new thing, and I love it. Like, instead of admitting that we don't know what we're saying, we're just like, well, prove it.
Well, show me how I'm wrong.
Okay,
That's like, I think, also the same approach that the flat earthers have to science. So
right.
I don't know if it's the best thing to do. But, oh
but
my
it is
gosh.
hilarious.
That's so funny. And like when I see them doing that, I'm like, oh, look at how cute. They're like cuddling with themselves. I don't know what the hell I'm thinking they're doing. I'm like, they're
It's
like,
just butt juice.
let me clean off my little, like I was thinking they were like picking little bugs off there. I don't know, whatever.
Well, that's true too, though. They do preen to keep parasites off of them.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're not wrong.
Which is just gross when you say the word parasite. Everything is gross.
That's what the article said. But they take their beaks, right, and they rub it on their preen gland, and then they spread that oil out. They lube up, man. And it's so important for aquatic birds that they spend 25% of their waking hours preening.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
So there you go.
That's
why
interesting.
Water rolls off a duck's back because it's all fucking oil on it.
Oh, my goodness. Well, yeah. And, like, ew. What is the... Okay, so vet friends out there.
Yeah.
And possibly groomers could answer me this, too. Because, like, I go get Bo's bum, like, taken care of. Like, her anal glands.
Oh, yeah.
Is this the same kind of anal gland situation? Like, you know, like, I don't know. What I've never seen what comes out. I don't want to. Oh, my God, this is disgusting. Why am I
I do not know the answer to that, but I bet that it's not because that... The dog kind smells like fish.
And aquatic bird. What the hell do you think a duck smells like? You just don't notice because he lives in a pond. And you're like, yeah, he smells like fish because he's swimming around him.
I mean,
Susie.
maybe you're... No, I mean, but I was thinking...
This makes sense.
I was thinking the duck wouldn't want to put its face in that, but maybe you're right. It makes it even better.
My dog clearly doesn't mind. She licks it.
That's...
Sus.
All right.
I'm onto something here. Like,
you're right. They probably
think
smell
I
like shit.
Ducks, I really do think, like, what if I just Googled, do ducks smell bad? What do you think will happen? Do ducks...
That we'll learn that they do.
Smell... Oh, do ducks smell... Nope, do ducks smell bad?
And...
Oh, they sell me duck's meat. I don't want to know about duck meat. I want to know about
they think you want to know about, like, duck... Right. The meal.
How about do ducks? Mm-hmm. That changes things.
Yeah.
You don't eat ducks. Do ducks smell bad? Oh, let's see. Ducks do not smell or have odor like chickens. Ducks are...
Did chickens have odor? I never knew that.
Well, it does say 10 reasons not to raise ducks on lifeisjustducky.com.
Well, remember when we had the ducks coming every day? And I'll tell you what a mess.
It does say a lot that says duck smell. How much does... Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to touch one now that I know about their butt gland.
Yeah. We're going to need somebody who lives near ducks to go and take a
let
smell.
us know what's cooking.
We need some people to do some field research for us. It's very important.
Right. Hey, what do you think? Did you read about the OnlyFans scandal with Bella Thorne?
No.
I don't really even know who she is, but I know she's a famous person.
Thorne. Yeah. That does sound familiar. Okay, yes.
Well, she started an OnlyFans, and she was the first person to make $1 million in a day.
Oh,
from her
my
OnlyFans.
God. Mm-hmm. Jesus.
Which, good for her. But the problem was I didn't know how OnlyFans works, but I guess she sent out a message to all of her followers and were like, if you want to open this message, you have to pay $200. Mm-hmm. And usually, and she said that, nude pictures, and that's typically what happens with these messages, that if you want to open it, you're going to get a great nude shot. Mm-hmm. But they opened it, and she was just in, lingerie. So then everybody wanted their money back, which you can get on OnlyFans if it's like you've been scammed. Mm-hmm. And they were, because they were supposedly getting nudes. So then, as a result, OnlyFans had to change their policy so that the limit on private openings was like $50, and also they were going to hold everybody's money for a month rather than a week, and that hurts sex workers. Right? So now they're being punished because Bella Thorne's an idiot.
Oh my God!
Which is a bummer.
What the hell?
Yeah, and she's like, "Sorry, guys."
Oh my God! Okay, this makes sense because I saw this thread on Twitter. Twitter, where it was people saying like what my OnlyFans really is, and it's like me and pictures of my dog, or
for real.
No, it was people were making a joke, how does it surprise? Look at my OnlyFans is. Actually, it's just pictures of me and my dog. Or,
I guess if you did that,
artwork
you'd
I did.
be in big trouble.
Is OnlyFans really supposed to be all?
Yeah, I think it's all
nude.
X-rated.
That's
kind of
understood. It's not
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, I guess no. I guess you could make yours different as long as you told everyone.
This is what I'm offering you.
Yeah.
Oh, so she says I'm giving you nudie pics.
Yes. Open this for a nude and $200.
No. She's the one. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
That really does suck for sex workers.
Yeah, I just thought of that. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. That puts a lot of fills in a lot of holes for me and things that I saw.
Right, like what's going on OnlyFans.
Yeah. I'm like, what's happening in the... Because I don't know a lot about that. And all I know is you were talking to me about my feet and saying, would you ever do a foot one?
Yeah, you can do that.
And then I was thinking is it just people who I don't know, want to make exclusive content? But no, it's not that. Okay.
Well, it is though, I guess, because it could be all feet, which, and then... Whatever.
But for some people, because some comedian or I heard this somewhere. Anything's porn if you jerk off to it.
Amen. Right.
So,
good point.
Anything. So right.
Yeah, it depends on you.
Depends on what you like. If you're objectophiliac, it's the Eiffel Tower that does it. So there you go. What you gonna do about that?
Well, one thing I'm definitely going to do is keep using stamps.com because it's the best service ever. Cannot say enough good stuff about their service. It's basically an online post office, so you can just print out postage right from your office or your desk. You won't have to go anywhere, which is more important than ever. Yeah. And it makes everything so easy because you can get it for a letter or a package anywhere in the world that you're going to send it. Print it out, put it on your thing. The mail carrier picks it up. It's that simple. And you get great discounts, too. 5 cents off every stamp and up to 62% off USPS and UPS shipping rates. It's a no-brainer. It saves you time and money. And right now, our listeners get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, plus free postage and a digital scale without any long-term commitment. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in Brain Candy. That's Stamps.com and enter Brain Candy. And thank you to everyone that uses our partner codes because it really helps the show.
Yes, we love that.
It really does help. Okay, next up. Okay.
1 million in one day. That's a lot
of
hope she's
dough.
paying it back.
Well, the 1 million was all legitimate, but then she did the DM separately.
Oh.
And I guess that was just all taken from her and refunded.
Damn. Oh, God.
Can you
That's
imagine making $1 million in
No.
a day?
I can't even imagine making $1 million, Susie.
Especially when it's like just for pictures of your body. My God, that's great.
Yeah, well,
I'm all
get
for
it how
that.
you live it, work it.
Hey, if worst comes to worst, I'm not above it.
I know, you said, that's what you said, and what do you have to say? Like, hey, my tits are down here.
Right, because I said
Sir.
I'd be the only stripper who's like just good at it because she's good at making conversation.
Yeah, you're like talking to them.
Hey, my tits are down
chit-chatting.
here.
You know, you can check out my tits,
Okay,
That's
so a Brainiac had sent me the book heist story because it was actually a book heist in Pittsburgh, where I'm from.
Oh my gosh.
And at a library that I would frequent when I was in grad school. It's the Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh. And they have a special room. I think it's called the Olive Room. And Oliver Room. And you go in there if you're interested in really old, valuable literary artifacts and maps and things like that. But when you go in a room like that at a library, you have to sign in.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you have to make appointments. You have
And
obviously
wear gloves, I bet, right?
Yeah, sometimes if it's, if you're going to touch anything, you have to wear like archival gloves.
Wow,
And
cool.
leave your bags outside, of course. And there's cameras everywhere. And when you bring the thing back to check it back in, they make sure it's okay. So it's super highly regulated. So when they found that about $8 million in items were missing, they were sort of like, WTF.
WTF.
Because it's almost impossible to take
Inside
anything.
job.
Inside job.
Yeah, gotta be. I've
Yeah.
seen enough Oceans movies, 11 through 14 or whatever, 9 through 14. I don't even know how many there are.
Yes. And
That's how you do it.
This bozo,
Damn.
the nerdy little librarian, really just got greedy and thought he could get away with it. And he was like ripping pages out of books and
No!
Yeah,
Why?
and then-
For what? That's
Well, if there were valuable maps inside and stuff, he would take those, and then he would take books. And he was working with this bookseller who would help him, because otherwise, how would
this
you really
is straight
sell
out
it?
of a movie. This is like
It is.
this. They should make a movie out of this.
Because I had just read about the theft.
Too bad the book thief is already taken.
Is that a name of a movie?
I think so. The book thief is like
yeah, they
I don't
can't
know,
call
a
it that.
book.
Or Book Thief
Yeah.
2.
Yeah,
Because I had been reading about the theft of Munch's Scream painting, which was stolen in 2004.
Yeah. Hey, we never talked about this.
No, we haven't.
That was something that you were like, hey, do you want to talk about this? And then I picked something else.
Well, now's the time.
Tell me.
Well, in that case, these guys went in with those, full-on masks, but it was during the day, and they just held up the security guard at gunpoint and took it out.
Oh my God!
Well,
just like, hey, I want that.
Yeah, and like the museum was open, and they
Like
just
the museum
walked
was
out.
mugged.
Exactly. Exactly.
It was like more than just robbed. It was like,
And it's bonkers because 2 years later they found the paintings with pretty much minimal damage, and people are like, why the hell did they even bother stealing it?
do you think it's just for the? Oh my God! What if I'm going to go crazy conspiracy theory? Mm-hmm. What if there is a group of very wealthy people who are playing like it's like a game, like
Like a what do you call that when you do that scavenger hunt?
yeah, like that.
I mean, that's possible.
I know. I'm not putting anything past anybody. These
But
days.
presumably, if you're playing a game, you want the prize, and if you're
yeah, but
holding,
it's like just check it off the list. But what if the thing wasn't to actually get that? It was like steal a priceless art, like do a
Yeah.
like straight up daytime rob a bank.
okay, but then what? Do
It was
you
like
get for
truth or
doing that?
dare. This was rich guy truth or dare. That's it with the crew.
Well, that freaking
That's my
painting is
theory.
worth $120 million, so they should have just sold it. I don't
They're
know
rich
what they're
guys. They don't even
thinking.
care.
Right.
That's not part of the game. They don't even care. They're like, I make that. And
Sarah's
one-
creating museum fan fiction right now.
Totally.
I do find that whole, because we experience this a lot with, antiquities, biblical artifacts, things like that. And there's a black market for those items. But it always sort of baffles me because then what? Then you get it and then what? Would you just stare at it? Because you can't tell anyone you have it.
Yeah, I think it's like the same. It falls maybe into the same category as like it because it feels kind of narcissistic, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's like big cats and that same kind of thing. Like, haha, look what I have that you don't have.
Right? Yeah, maybe, but they can't brag too much
like
or they'll go to jail.
Well, yeah, but I. Oh gosh, I bet
with the big cats, they like showing those off.
Yeah, but like I think in the bigger, maybe in different circles, like yeah.
Well, at any rate, they caught the librarian, but I'm annoyed because this was $8 million theft, and really they're irreplaceable. Like,
irreplaceable. So, that's the sad part.
And all we got was like a few years of what do you call that? House arrest.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, he was white, Sarah.
Oh, my. Well.
Right.
Do you think this falls into the same, this is like in the same, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, for the same reason that the people who damage the artifacts at museums don't get in trouble?
Yeah. Like it's high society crimes.
What the actual fuck? I feel like if anything, he should be like employee. Well, no, that's just like grounds for termination. Well, I don't know.
Well, whatever. I mean,
feel like if you were like stealing if you worked at an office and you stole all of these staplers,
yeah,
and you were like selling all the office supplies off. Mm-hmm. Don't you think they would arrest you, or like you would get charged with like grand theft and like
maybe not for office supplies,
but like a computer, if it all added up to like a shit ton of money, and you were like, yeah, that's why I kind of upped it because like
I think you should, yeah,
I do too. This seems crazy that he didn't get.
It's like white collar crime. It's a wink, you know.
Oh my gosh,
what a doofus!
What a doofus.
Anyway. I'm just glad they found that stuff. And it sucks for the people who then bought it not knowing it was stolen because then they don't get to keep it.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
What do you think they do? Do they give them their money back? How's that work?
I
don't think
There's
so.
got to be rules for this. Yeah, I think yes. And here's why. Because when I had my scooter stolen, I had the option of filing a claim to get reimbursed for the price of the good. Even though that wasn't buying stolen property, though.
Right. But something similar.
But it's something that was like taken by that was seized by the police when they caught this guy.
Yes.
So, yes.
Do you want to talk about, let's see. Do you want to talk about outdoor comedy or Sunbasket?
Outdoor comedy.
Well, we got to do the Sunbasket. So that was the trick question. I wanted you to say, because you're forgetting that Sunbasket is the meal prep.
What I was going to say, as I was going to be like, oh my God, don't you dare say anything about Sunbasket because like I will have a serious, I was like, if I have to apologize for something, I'm going to be so sad. I was like, I fucking love this.
That makes me laugh. Like you thought I was going to be like, it turns out.
I was like, oh no, I am not going to be able to co-sign this one.
Oh God, that's funny. No. We love Sunbasket. Sunbasket is the meal prep service that provides organic, fresh produce and clean ingredients. But the real beauty for me is that you can make these meals in 15 minutes because it is ready to go.
Which is why I was like, please, God, do not kill my dream.
I know.
That is a reality that I'm living. It's the freaking best.
It's so great because if you are stressed about making dinner and working and homeschooling and all that stuff.
And who the heck isn't?
Right. The last thing you want to think about is shopping and preparing these meals. No. And Sunbasket delivers fresh, healthy, delicious meals. And Like, for instance, they have a roasted salmon with miso glazed eggplant that's to die for. They have tostadas that are really good. Anyway, you can order from any meals across their menu, skip a week whenever you need to, double up on your favorites, whatever you want. It's real flexible, simple and easy, no gotchas. And right now, Sunbasket is offering $35 off your order when you go right now to sunbasket.com/braincandy and enter promo code braincandy at checkout. That's sunbasket.com/braincandy and enter promo code braincandy at checkout for, I'm still laughing at you, for $35 off your order, sunbasket.com/braincandy and enter promo code braincandy. Because you were like, outdoor comedy?
I was like going real slow, like, oh God, what if I...
It's very unusual for you and I not to be on the same page, and so it does tickle me. Okay, that was funny.
Oh gosh,
did I already
It's
talk
probably
about
because
this?
we haven't given each other an actual hug in 1 bajillion years.
Probably.
You
and
know,
it doesn't
I'm
seem
just
like we're going to
complaining about
either.
that.
I
I
actually
know.
think I already covered outdoor comedy. Didn't I tell you that? How like you need a roof to make a joke really work?
No.
How like the laughs just float up away into the air, and so it's like not the same.
Oh,
And
I feel like maybe we talked about this, but like not really in like that way. But,
Yeah, we
oh
probably
my
got off
God.
subject. But like, because they're doing all these outdoor comedy shows, which is so great because,
Yeah.
they got to work and we got to support artists and stuff like that. But like what they were describing is how when you're at a comedy club, there's an agreed upon space where it's an agreed upon space where you allow comedians to say whatever they want. But now like it's filthy hoo-ha talk floating into the air.
Yep. And it feels yes.
It's too
totally,
open.
because the intimate part, that's why they love all those underground, like, basement cellars. It's always like the cellar, the
Yeah.
underground, the, like, teeny tiny room in the back.
Yeah.
Like, that's the name
Bonzo
of every
basement.
Yes, that's every single comedy club. And it's the actual opposite of that they're doing.
Because think about it, there's not even windows in comedy clubs.
Right.
It's just totally
it's
blacked
designed
out.
to hold the joke in. That's so true.
It's a real bummer.
Man, it is.
But
you know what? Like, oh no, go ahead. Go.
I was just going to say, Matt Neroni was texting me today because he was saying Nate Bargatze, who's one of our favorite comedians, is doing like a drive-in show in Pennsylvania, and he wanted to go, but it's about, he said $250 a car, which I get it.
Oh my God.
But like, that's a lot of money
Yeah.
for a comedy show. So that's hard.
I think that comedians should do, or if, like, as a viewer, what I really liked, like, I think that doing, like, almost like a online where it's, like, just, like how we do our live Q&As kind of thing.
Right.
Because
I
I
know I've
was
seen
on
some
a
of
show.
those.
I was on a podcast, or like a show, like an online show for this comedian Ian Bagg, who Susie and I have seen, and he's so funny. He's like he does crowd work, and he was the one who said you were wearing his favorite outfit, jean shorts with high heels.
Yes.
He was so funny, and I was cracking up. And if you were like a comedian who could interact in some way with the crowd, and I would pay for that. It was so fun, but I think you even almost have to like experience it, because it was so, and like hearing him laugh and talk, like interact and kind of like.
I mean, that was one of the most, what's the word? Just the most laughter I've ever seen at a comedy show.
When we went to his show?
When we went to his, the crowd work stuff.
Oh my gosh, we were dying.
It's just so funny.
It's so funny. Oh my God. Yeah. So, and it doesn't work in that big.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Because they were
what do they
saying
do?
like so much of comedy is about momentum. And so
Yes.
if your joke, if the reaction of the joke kind of dissipates into the air, it's hard to then build momentum off of it for your next joke. And that would be really difficult.
Right. Oh my gosh. And then there's it's you know what maybe it is laughter is kind of contagious. And when you hear at a comedy club, you hear the person in the back because everything echoes.
Right.
And you don't hear the person in the back laughing who might be like I bet slow claps also take longer to take off in stadiums than
everything's just diluted and
you need like a
well, and think about it, like the way comedy clubs are designed, the chairs sometimes it's wall to wall people, so I don't know how they're going to adjust to the new situation, because even when we can go to clubs like that, it's got to be different.
Right. Oh, God, yeah. Everything's going to be different, which is really, it went to a good cause, but I won a charity auction that was like 10 tickets to, more than that, maybe. I think it was like 10 to the Laugh Factory and like 10 to the Hermosa Comedy and Magic Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun to use in 2029.
Right. It's going to be a long haul for sure.
Yeah, hope they don't expire.
I read a great article that was about sort of the complexities of translating words, which always fascinates me.
Oh, yes.
And how
I think about that words a lot.
Right?
It's a weird thing to say, but maybe other people are with me. Yeah. I'm like, I think about words because all they are symbols.
Yes.
And that is weird to me because if you really unpack that.
Yes.
Even without me getting stony. That's
right.
Weird. Yeah.
Sober as a judge, it's still interesting.
Yes.
And that you assume sort of like, okay, this is a table, so that's our word for it, and it's whatever other word in this other language.
A mesa.
But it's not, it doesn't work like that. And it's very hard sometimes to find words that translate universally. And so they were doing this study about like what words work well universally and what don't. And so words that have meaningful associations with each other, like they gave the example of the word beautiful. They do these graphs where they can find like kind of like charts of association. So like the word beautiful has some overlap with words like love and delicate, and they just sort of there's some movement there between them, and they're harder to translate. Whereas words that refer to numbers and professions,
where it's something abstract versus
concrete.
Yeah.
Professions, quantities, calendar dates, and kinship, like my mom, my dad.
Yeah. Well, no, even like qualitative. No, quantitative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like,
interesting.
Words that referred to animals, food, and emotions were less well matched in meaning, and which seems weird to me that an animal
right.
Yeah.
Less well matched in meaning.
Right, so they don't have as much of that connection or association.
Right. Yep.
And then researchers found their algorithm could correctly predict how easily two languages could be translated based on how similar the cultures were.
Oh.
Which is so fun because you think it wouldn't matter, but it does.
Because it's our relationship with something.
Yes.
Which is kind of cultural or
and they were
even geographical, which is what develops that. And then that language is created around that.
Well, and they said this is one of those things where linguists sort of knew this to be true, but they couldn't figure out a way to test it. And so that's why they found this the semantic associations to be so helpful, because it showed what the relationship was and why it worked and why it didn't. So they're just happy that they have confirmation.
Yeah.
You know how that is?
Yeah, like the dreams of we think that's what it is, but now we can actually show you what's
it. And that can then help us. It can help us communicate globally if we know what works and what doesn't better.
Yeah,
cool.
we might have to translate something in a different way for a culture that is very different.
Yeah, from our own. Don't you wonder that? Like whenever I'm kind of obsessed with uncontacted peoples.
Yeah.
And I always imagine, what if you were in a situation where you had to try to communicate with people who had no frame of reference, and vice versa.
Right, because then that's exactly there. Is like, because if all language is a symbol for like how we interact with whatever the item is or whatever the concept is, and we're meeting another culture that interacts with that symbol or that item or symbol or thing differently than we do, then we'll develop a different relationship with that, and it'll be more difficult to translate.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's just sort of one of those things where it's like, okay, good to know, because then you can work with that information.
Yes.
So there you go.
Love it.
And lastly, I just wanted to say there was an article in the New York Times by Jen Guntner. She's a gynecologist, and she's always like dealing with trolls on Twitter and stuff. But she's great because she was talking about the song. I don't even know if is it WAP? WAP?
Suze, I have this written down as something to talk to you about. We have so much to talk about.
We do. Are you
that we have
you
to
love
unpack?
That song?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured.
Of course I do. And I have like a million arguments for why, and I love everything about it, and yeah.
Well, I just loved how she used the song as an entry point to talk about women's bodies.
Yes.
And how men like to shame women if they're too wet, not wet enough, don't orgasm quickly, orgasm too quickly. And so she sort of acts as this mediator of like, here's what's actually normal, and here's why you shouldn't put up with that bullshit.
Good.
Because, the reaction to that song has been ridiculous from conservatives who are clutching their pearls about it. Meanwhile, it's like, have you heard literally any Rolling Stones song ever?
Any song ever.
Period.
Period.
Right.
I can give you a million exampple. And then if people are like, oh, but what if children hear it? Well, what if children watch porn? It's not made for them. We shouldn't just not have it. It's not for them.
Yeah. Right. Good point.
She's not the preschool teacher.
Yeah, right.
And if she were, and she did that on the side, it still wouldn't matter. Just don't do it in front of a kid.
Exactly. I just love that. I love that we can use these sort of pop culture references to, teach people about their bodies or about whatever is of importance.
Yes.
And also to say, like, no, you don't get to decide what turns us on or makes us happy or that we're into, period.
Right.
So
and I say it gives permission to enjoy that stuff to women who maybe were like, oh my gosh, it's like, we got a lot of work to do to shed some of the shame.
Right,
so
because
for Christ's sake,
women's desire is always policed, and it's a bunch of bullshit.
Bunch of bullshit.
And so, I love anything that sort of fights against that norm.
Yes.
So that's all.
That's
my speeches for you all today. I hope you enjoyed.
I love it.
And I love you. Let's wind it down. We forgot to do that last time.
I know.
Oh, because we had a guest. That's why.
We had a guest, which was, I love that.
We learned a lot today.
We learned so much. We learned about birds getting high, singing some jazzy tunes.
Yes. We learned. Well, I really liked the song that you sang, like the tweet song.
My tweet scatting.
Yeah. So.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sis.
I recommended a fantastic movie called Action Park, which I really want you to watch.
Can't wait to watch that.
Promise me to watch.
Yes, I was just going to say we learned about terrifying roller coasters and things. I'm like, oh God, but that is
death
that.
Traps.
Oh, yep.
We learned about water on ducks in their buttholes.
Oh my gosh, I've already blocked it from my mind. So thank you for reminding me about duckies' anal glands, and then book heists.
We did,
and that insanity, and how
don't steal books, people.
The punishment did not fit the crime, and they were way too lenient. So
fuck that.
Yeah. So to fight back, you should probably join our book club.
Join it,
because that's the only thing we can do. Just read some more books.
And it's great because it's you can pay whatever you're comfortable with, $1 or more, whatever you want. Sliding scale. Reading should not be income exclusive.
Right.
And we have Zoom meetings every month, and we love you guys.
So much fun. Love you guys so much.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.